I just want to say, I love this team, bro. I love the quarterback. I love everything about this team, bro, man. So I wouldn't rather have it no other way.
So yeah, 8 weeks after this was said by Tyreek Hill, he's having it another way, choosing to go to the Miami Dolphins for a boatload of money. And according to his own words, he's coming home. So let's talk about this trade of Tyreek Hill, the impact it has on the Chiefs, and where we go from here. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL overall. So make sure to sub if you're new around here, hit that like button, and let's get into it. It's worth noting, though, today I'm not covering overall NFL news. I'm just going to do a deep dive on this one thing that happened yesterday because it is such a big deal. Basically, the NFL exploded yesterday when NFL insiders began talking about another blockbuster of a trade coming involving the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm over here thinking, dope, we're about to get a big trade for an edge rusher or something like that because we desperately need that on defense. But then I see that the trade is actually involving wide receiver Tyreek Hill, with a very real possibility he's either getting traded to the Dolphins or the Jets. So yeah, this was such a surprise because we all knew that the Chiefs were working with Tyreek Hill on an extension, and that had been said to come soon. And basically nobody ever said Tyreek Hill may not want this extension and things may not work out. So this came as a complete surprise to me and many others. According to Ian Rappaport, the Chiefs and Tyreek were in intense negotiations on this extension, not just over the past few days, but over the past few weeks and months, and were close on a deal that would have been somewhere in the low $20 million per year plus mark. But then the Davante Adams deal happened with the Raiders, which was a massive deal for wide receivers. Also, I want to note this, the Christian Kirk deal also probably played a role in this as well. So it then became clear that Tyreek should be making more money.
He expressed his frustration, and his agent did with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it seemed at that point, despite several aggressive offers to make him one of the highest paid receivers in the NFL, they were simply not going to get where he wanted.
And then we know the story from there. The Chiefs reluctantly agreed for him to seek a trade, and that's all she wrote. He's now been traded to the Miami Dolphins, in which Hill gets a massive 4-year extension worth up to $120 million and $72.2 million guaranteed. However, the contract includes an extra non-guaranteed year, meaning the extension is technically a 3-year extension worth $75 million, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Poised to make an average salary of $23.8 million per year through the 2025 season, Hill is set to become the highest paid receiver in the NFL annually by most metrics. It's worth noting that the Jets were also interested, but ultimately, it seems like the Chiefs were really trying to work with Tyreek and as a thank you, and they traded him to the Miami Dolphins because that is what he wanted. Now, the Chiefs, in exchange for Hill, get 5 draft picks. These are all from 2022. A first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a fourth-round pick, and then a 4th and a 6th-round pick from the 2023 draft. Now, that first-round pick that they get, by the way, is basically a second-round pick. It's 29th overall. So yeah, the Chiefs do technically have 2 first-round picks right now, but they are pick 29 and pick 30. And just hours after the trade was announced, Tyreek Hill posted a public statement saying, "Today starts a new beginning. I'm very excited to be joining the Miami Dolphins and get to work. However, it's hard thinking about the memories, people, and fans that made my time in Kansas City so great." He goes on to thank his family, his foundation, and then the Chiefs organization, saying, "Thank you to the Chiefs organization for believing in me. I'll never forget getting the call in 2016 that my dream to play in the NFL was coming true. I worked hard every day to show my appreciation for you taking a chance on me." To Coach Reid, Coach Bieniemy, and Coach Lewis. Greg Lewis is our running backs coach, but was previously our wide receiver coach from 2017 to 2020. Anyway, he said, "Thank you for what you have taught me, not only about football, but about life. Thank you to Pat, Shaq, Kelsey, DeMarcus, and Dieter, along with all my teammates. I'm proud to have taken the field with each of you. You are what made each day worth it. We are brothers for life. To the fans, thank you for your support. Playing for you has been one of the greatest things I have done in my life. Your energy, passion, and loyalty for the team is indescribable. It was an honor to play in front of you. KC will always hold a special place in my heart. Cheetah out. Travis Kelce retweeted Hill's post saying brothers for life. Garrick Dieter responds saying, gonna miss you, my brother. Real one since day one. It also appears that he is on a FaceTime call with Tyreek and I believe his agent when his agent shared a congratulatory post on Twitter. That was just an interesting side note there. D-Rob and Mahomes are yet to respond, at least publicly, as of when this video was recorded. But several other players responded to the news as well. Myles Garrett tweeted out saying that Mahomes and Cheetah connection was one of the best ever. CEH said it was a privilege to be able to play alongside you, big bro. Chris Jones was at a complete loss for words. Tyrann Mathieu, of course, chimes in cryptically saying, when egos run wild, contain yours.
What the freak is that supposed to mean, you weirdo?
McCole Hardman had one word to say, followed up with this gif. He's basically saying, I'm all alone now. He is the last remaining member of the infamous Legion of Zoom, with Pringle, Robinson, and Tyreek all leaving within the same offseason. Andy Reid and Brett Veach also issued statements of their own yesterday following the trade. Veach said, it's hard to put into words what Tyreek has meant to Chiefs Kingdom over the last 6 years. He's a special player, one of the best in franchise history. He's been a large part of our success, including our Super Bowl championship run. This decision was incredibly difficult, but we felt it was a necessary move in the best interest of the team and also for Tyreek. We wish him the best as he continues his career. Andy Reid had a statement of his own saying, I am happy for Tyreek. He has grown as a man and player here in KC. Myself, my staff, and our organization appreciate all he did for our team. This move will also benefit the Chiefs. We now have cap space and additional draft picks to grow as a football team. I wish him well as he moves forward. So yeah, you can tell how hard this was for them, yet they are looking ahead and trying not to be absolutely cap-strapped with an inability to grow their team in other ways. Part of me wonders if they said this, Tyreek, you're worth what you're wanting and more. You've been invaluable to our team. We love you. We care about you, but we cannot give you what you are wanting. So why don't you go out there and try to seek a trade and get your bag that you so very much deserve? Part of me wonders if that's how it went down behind the scenes. Another part of me wondered if they were afraid for some reason that if they would have said no to the trade request, that Tyreek Hill maybe would have sat out or, something along those lines. But I mainly just think they care about him. They love the guy and they wanted to meet his, demands, meet his needs and see this man get paid. So yeah, as sad as it is, and trust me, I am heartbroken over this. It seems to me like the Chiefs have opted to save cap space, go younger, and to begin retooling the roster for the next chapter of the Mahomes era. Sam McDowell of the KC Star says they will not replace Tyreek Hill. Let's get past that thought. He is one of one. But what happens when he turns 30 in 2 years and his speed becomes more like 1 out of 10? What about a year later if it becomes more like 1 out of 20? And by the way, he's still occupying more than $30 million on your salary cap. He doesn't have enough other elite traits to make do with only really good speed instead of elite speed. Not at the number required to keep him on the roster. He's smaller in stature and isn't a reliable enough catcher of the football. You pay a player for future potential, not past performance. It's business over loyalty. So yeah, it is true that Tyreek just turned 28 and age will begin to decline his insane abilities over time. But the question to me will always remain, would it really have shown over the next few years? Time will tell, certainly, as we watch him on the Dolphins. Matt Derrick says the Chiefs didn't get here without doing their due diligence, and Brett Veach doesn't do anything without a plan. It's always possible the move won't work, but the organization has faith that Veach's long-term vision is the way to go. Pete Sweeney replied to Derrick's tweet, echoing with his own thoughts, Tyreek Hill is elite. Nobody is arguing that. By choosing 5 picks and $70 million in cap space instead, Chiefs are betting on themselves to hit in draft and free agency. crazy. It's a further bet on Mahomes and Reid building around whatever weapons they do have. The track record is there. And this is why I think it's a bit of a surprise they could not land a deal with Tyreek Hill, because you would think if they knew it wasn't a possibility, they would have tried to trade him weeks ago when all these wide receivers were still available on the market. I really do think they were that close to getting a deal done, and the Davante Adams deal just threw a wrench in everything. Casey Proctor from Arrowhead Addict says this: "It may be difficult to imagine the excitement that day one of the draft will bring us, but the potential for the Chiefs' near future to be determined with those 4 picks in the first 2 rounds is legitimate. In a division in which each of our greatest rivals has spent the past 3 years doing all they could to catch up, the MO in KC has clearly been zigging while everyone else zags. Instead of burying themselves in cap space hell, they are clearing house and infusing the locker room with youth. The culture shift that took place in KC from 2018 to 2022 will live on, but under a new regime." All right, so where do we go from here, y'all? Let's start off by saying this. It's already been stated, but you cannot simply replace someone as unique and talented as Tyreek Hill, yet it is not impossible to win without him. If we take a look at Mahomes' stats in games he's played without Tyreek, which I believe has been 5 games, he won 4 of those, throwing for 1,737 yards, 8 TDs, and 1 interception, and had a passer rating of 103.1. So again, we can win and be productive without Tyreek. It just certainly makes things much more difficult. Matt Lane from KCSN says, "Here's what you have to replace if you're KC. 1, elite vertical threat. 2, elite yards after catch creator. 3, really good possession / short intermediate wide receiver. You won't get someone to fulfill all 3 or even 2 out of 3 most likely. Get guys that can fill 1 at a time so you are draft flexible. This is just to replace the Hill role in conjunction with Juju and Kelsey and Hardman. Some areas could obviously be covered with them too, but the goal should be to replace the Hill role around those guys, not with them." So yeah, basically he's saying it's going to take up to 3 guys to fill the role that Hill played single-handedly, which is insane to me. So yeah, the Chiefs now have to turn their attention to the draft, free agency, and other potential trades. Mock drafts have Chiefs now selecting receivers like Christian Watson from North Dakota State or Jamison Williams from Alabama, among others. And it's also worth noting that yesterday the Chiefs have inquired about Jags wide receiver Laviska Shenault. He's only 23 years old and was a 2nd-round pick in 2020. And also yesterday, Marquez Valdez-Scantling visited the Chiefs as well, another potential option. None of these guys are Tyreek Hill. We all know that. So it'll certainly be interesting to see where the Chiefs decide to go from here. What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Where do we go from here? What is the best course of action? Let me know in the comments down below. I couldn't keep up with all the comments yesterday, but I'm typically very involved in the comment section and would love to hear your thoughts. For me, I think one of the saddest parts about all of this is that we had no idea that the last pass Mahomes would throw to Tyreek Hill would be the game-losing pass in the AFC Championship game, in which Mahomes threw it up to Hill. It was knifed out of his hands and picked off, which ultimately lost us the game. So there will always be a part of me that will wonder, what if only, what could have been, etc. But now all we can do is move forward and look ahead to the next chapter. The trade is a done deal and Tyreek is gone. So all we can do is look forward. Travis Kelce, on the other hand, will turn 33 in October, and within the next few years, the end of an era will close completely once Kelce himself moves on or retires. When that happens, I quite possibly will cry. I can neither confirm nor deny that, but yeah, man, this offseason has been absolutely insane. You've had 9 massive trades involving players that have earned a total of 39 Pro Bowl selections in a 16-day span. The question is, who's next? We're about to find out, and be assured of this, I will certainly keep you all in the know every step of the way. Make sure to like and sub for more daily news like this, and check out the video from yesterday's news in case you missed it. So until next time, let's go. How about those